standard form. We've been doing slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, because it gives you the slope and it gives you the intercept. Now, standard form is, the form of that is ax plus by equals c. Now, all that means is put the x and y on the same side. Okay? So if you had an equation y equals 2x minus 3, and you had to write that in standard form, all you got to do is get this 2x over here. So it would change from, remember, if you move a whole term, it just changes signs. So I would change to negative 2x plus y equals negative 3. Now the x and y are on the same side. But there are a couple of things about this. This isn't quite in standard form yet. The first thing is the x isn't negative. You don't want the x to be a negative number. So, if it turns out that the x is negative, it's a simple fix. Everyone know what you can do? What do you do to fix it? Change all the signs. Change it to 2x minus y equals 3. That's all you got to do if the x ends up negative. Okay? The second one, these are the only two, is you don't want any fractions. So here there are no fractions, so this is the standard form. If you had something like this, okay, this is slope-intercept form, so you would have to move this over here. So I would change the negative 2/3 x plus y equals negative 3. The x is negative, so you could just change all the signs. Change the sign, change the sign, change the sign. The only thing wrong with this now is it has a fraction in it. So, this isn't so hard to fix either. Any idea what you can do to get rid of this fraction? You could do that, but there's a real easier way. You could do that, but there's an even easier way. You could just take everything times the common denominator. Remember though, you got to do it to all of them. A lot of times people do these and forget to do the last one. Because whatever you do in an equation, you got to do it to all of them. The reason why is 3 times 2/3 makes 2x. The 3's cancel. There you got rid of your fraction. Minus 3 times y is 3y, equals 3 times 3 is 9. No fractions, and x is positive. Sometimes you have 2 fractions in it. Okay? This one, I would have to move this over. So I would change from negative to positive 1/4 x plus y equals 2/5. Now you could do this in 2 steps, but it's easier just to do it in 1. If I took everything times 4, that would get rid of that one, but not that one. Take it times 20. Take it times the common denominator. Common denominator is whatever these both go into, which is 20. And then remember to take all of them. So what happens is 20 over 4 makes 5. 5 times 1x is 5x. 20 times y is 20y. 20 over 5 is 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? So here, what we actually did this before backwards. We had standard form and we had to put it into slope-intercept. Now we have the slope intercept, we gotta put it into standard form. So, the problems we're doing are just like the ones we've done before. Except they want us to put it into standard form. So, first, we have to write it out like this, y equals mx plus b, and then you switch it to that. Yeah. So to find the equation, we know that m is -4, and we know an x and a y, so we gotta find b. Anytime you write an equation, you need to have m and b. And then you just put them into y equals mx plus b. The y here is a 2. Same thing we've been doing. M is -4. X is -3 plus b. Then you solve it. So I'd have to subtract 12 and I'd get -10 is b. So my equation is y equals -4x minus 10. So there I have the equation, but now they want you to put it in standard form. So this one's a simple one. I just got to move that over. It changes from negative to positive 4x plus y equals -10. And you're done. No fractions, and the x is a positive. Okay? So this is the same stuff we've been doing. It's just one more step you got to do with it.
Why would you ever want it in standard form?
Hardly ever.
What would you like use it for in standard form?
Usually, when you get into Algebra 2, usually they write the equations originally like this, and you need to switch them to this. Very rarely we got to switch them from here to there. But they just want you to do this to see how it goes back and forth. So yeah, this isn't as important as switching from this to that. Now, this one, there is one like this on the test, which is coming up probably Tuesday. Yeah, we'll probably take it Tuesday, then Wednesday we won't have anything. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is a line right here, the horizontal line, and this is a line right here. So they want the standard form of the equation. So remember, if it's a horizontal line, what's the equation of this line right here?
0, -2.
No.
2, -2.
We've done these many times, so hopefully no one's forgot. What's the equation of this line right here? Y equals -2. That's it. Okay. What's the equation of this one?
X equals 4.
X equals 4. Okay, that's all you got to put. If you wrote it out, it would be 0x plus y equals -2, but you don't need the 0x. If you wrote this one out, it'd be x plus 0y equals 4, and then you don't need 0. So, this is exactly the same way as what we've done before. If it's horizontal, it's just y equals wherever it crosses the y-axis. If it's up and down, it's just x equals wherever it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so to do these, again, it's exactly the way we did before. We've got to find what b is. So we plug in y equals mx plus b. We put 5 in for y. They give us the m. The x is 2 plus b, and then we solve it. That'd be -6 plus b. Add 6, and you get 11 for b. So the equation is y equals -3x plus 11. So to change that to standard form, we've got to move this over, so it just changes signs from negative to positive 3x. So 3x, that didn't move, so it stays a positive y. That didn't move, so it stays 11. So again, it's not real tough, it's exactly what we've been doing, it's just at the end, you gotta move the x to the other side. There isn't a lot with fractions that we'll have to do. This one's an easy one, anytime you got a 0 in there, it saves you some time. Because if I plug these in, I'd have -1 equals m times x plus b. So that's 0, so b is -1. So the equation is y equals m x plus b, which you could just write as y equals -1. And again, if you recognize this, a 0 slope is a horizontal line, which is always y equals whatever the y is going to be. You wouldn't have to if you remember that, yeah. The other one that's easy is if they have an undefined slope. An undefined slope is straight up and down, which is always x equals 3, whatever the x is. So now these are like we did before too. We got to find the equation that passes through 2 points. So first you got to find m by taking y minus y over x minus x. Here we got one. If 0's on the bottom, remember that is
6
undefined. If you did 6 divided by 0, you'd get an error. Which means it's a straight up and down line, which means it's x equals 3. Here the slope is y minus y is -7, x minus x is -7, so that's -1. Then to find b, we choose a point, doesn't matter which one, and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So y is 3, m is -1, x is 5, plus b, and then you solve it. So I'd have to add 5, and I'd get 8 equals b. So the equation is y equals -1x plus 8. So to make it into standard form, I just have to move this over. So it'd be 1x plus y equals 8, which you wouldn't need the 1 there. It's not wrong if you put it, but it could just be x plus y. Okay, so that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.